Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Kietzman in for the next hour, leading you up to the Vince Show. I'm in mourning on this Friday. It would appear Donald Trump did not win the Nobel Peace Prize. I am shocked. I can't believe it. What are the chances this happens 2 days after a peace deal is done? Now, maybe this was already done for the year, and maybe he has a chance next year. Did anybody know the Nobel Peace Prize was coming out this week when all this news was going out? It almost seems like fake news. So, I don't know. I thought they only gave it away once a year, so we'll have to wait for another year to see if Trump wins it. He solved, in 2025, he has ended 8 wars or conflicts or battles or skirmish or whatever you want to call them. And they've given the award to Maria Corina Machado, because you have to use the middle name when giving away a prestigious award. So it will be Donald John Trump when he wins it maybe next year. Maria Machado is the Venezuelan opposition leader to Maduro, and they've awarded it to her. So I did a little Nobel Peace Prize research here just before the start of the show. 23% of all award winners have been Americans. That's number one of any country in the world. Barack Obama got one at exactly this time, right? Like 9 months into his presidency, he hadn't done anything. He won it for like being the first mixed race American president, right? So I feel bad for Donald Trump, but we're not going to let it bring us down. We're going to have a fun Friday today. I've got some really fun, positive stories. We're looking forward to bringing them to you today. And then at your own peril, you can hear Mark and myself give you our locks of the week, which we have yet to discuss. But I may go down one of his former rabbit holes today because I'm pretty sure he's done with that one. We'll find out a little bit later on. And a fast food chain gets out of its lane. We'll have some fun today on the broadcast. Let's start with this one. I think this is a fun story. It is, in a way, it's negative, but to me, it's really positive. And I know it's not on everybody's radar screen, and I know it's not world peace, and I know it's not government shutdown or any of that. But this singer, Zach Bryan, I'm listening yesterday. I'm grilling a steak last night about 5:30 p.m., and I have music out back where I grill the steak. And I've got my Spotify playlist on it's on shuffle. It could go from anything. Like literally, I've got 3,000 songs in there, and it just bounces all over the place. And a song comes on, and I'm like, it's actually a decent one. I'm like, well, okay, I forget who this is, but if this is him, it's trouble. And it was Zach Bryan. And I didn't know that I'd ever downloaded in my liked songs playlist any of his songs. So I went to the artist name, and I actually had 4 of his songs, which I promptly deleted all 4 of them. I'm done with the guy. If you don't know the story, he has a new song out that has this line of, it's anti-ICE, it's anti-American, and it sings praises to the fading of the red, white, and blue. This guy's been nothing but trouble. He's arrested 2 years ago. He's had domestic problems with the law. He climbed a fence and got in a fight with a dude at a concert venue this last summer. He hates the Kansas City Chiefs. He's posted that he never wants to come to Kansas City again. He's that guy. He's just kind of a douchey dude. All right, that's the best way to describe him, who's always on the edge of trouble, and nobody really likes him, apparently. And he's decided to do this. He does have a good friend. We'll tell you who that good friend is in a minute, because that friend is now getting dragged down into the gutter with him, and it's another singer. So everybody's all up in this guy's kitchen now. They're deleting him out of Spotify. I think he's probably going to get played less on the radio, because the radio corporations will continue to play him because they don't care until their phone lines get flooded with complaints about him being on there. Like Morgan Wallen once got canceled for a drunken stupor thing and using the N-word to a white guy. He was calling him without the ER, it ends in GGA. Using that word, he got caught on video doing that, and they canceled him. He came back. He's the biggest country star in the world now. But this time with Zach Bryan, it's coming from all kinds of places. Now, typically you get guys like John Rich. Everybody knows who he is from Big and Rich. You've seen him on Fox News. And he's come out and said, Nashville is full of guys like this. Who's ready for the Zach Bryan Dixie Chicks tour? And probably a huge Bud Light sponsorship for this one. And he's nailed it. And this time is different because it's not just going to be Zach Bryan. There's collateral damage. It goes on and on and on. Rich later posted, Zach Bryan has every right to record a song bashing law enforcement, and fans have every right to keep supporting his career or not. Capitalism is not cancellation. Who knows? Maybe there's a large anti-law enforcement wing of the country music fan base that will go crazy and love him even more. We'll find out soon. Then there's a singer and a podcaster named Buddy Brown, and I was not aware of him until today. This guy does 5-minute YouTube videos that are really good. They're too long for me to play for you here, or I would, but you can check him out on YouTube. He is a singer, he's a songwriter, and he does podcasts. He does YouTube shorts called Backwoods Wisdom. And he came out and did an interview with Fox News where he told them that it's getting harder to defend Zach Bryan. The first time I heard of him, he was getting arrested, and he was mad because he was telling the cops how famous he is. Next, you see him jumping a fence to fight another singer. He reminds me of a middle school desk, all inked up and unstable. That's right. My middle school desk was that's a forever thing, apparently, because mine is too. He says now he's bashing President Trump and ICE. The only thing I can think of is he's trying really hard to get a Bud Light sponsorship. So you see the Dixie Chicks are getting caught up in this again, and Bud Light is circling them back around, and everybody's making the same jokes. And now they're getting all over Bruce Springsteen. Because apparently Bruce Springsteen is just about Zach Bryan's only friend in music, and they're working on a collab right now. They're going to do a song together. This is two America haters wrapped into one. I can't imagine how vile their song will be. In this new song that Zach Bryan has out, The Fading of the Red, White, and Blue, people now believe, one place says the boss stopped stomping and The Fading of the Red, White, and Blue. The cover of Born in the USA, the album, is Springsteen in jeans with a ball cap in his back pocket, a white T-shirt, and an American flag. They believe it's a reference to it's fading. The music of Bruce Springsteen is fading, and another generation needs to take the baton. Born in the USA is one of the most hate America songs ever written. People don't know this. They play it as an anthem. There's been people play it on the 4th of July, whatever. It is absolutely soaked in hating America, all the evils of America, and how bad your country, the foundation of the country, everything about the country is to the working man or the regular man or the military man. Well, Springsteen's lost that. He's just hate America. He doesn't care about the working man anymore. They've all gone to Trump. All of those fans of his are gone. And we've learned through the years that Born in the USA is a hate America song. That's literally what it is. And Zach Bryan loves it, and he loves Springsteen, and they've become friends. And Springsteen's been on stage with Zach Bryan at some concerts, and they formed this bond, this kinship. And apparently they're doing a song together. There's just collateral damage all over the place. What I don't understand with these people, and you can throw Jimmy Kimmel in or a whole bunch of other people. We just talked with Pete about, is Taylor Swift changing? Is she turning more to the right? Well, America is. Get with it. And these people that are fighting this and are going to keep pounding on it, they're just going to keep peeling off and becoming less and less and less part of the discussion, other than people that look at them and go, why would you hate America? I mean, people literally are now asking, after we've spent all these Obama and Biden years being told, we're sick of being told how bad we are as human beings, how awful our country is, how racist we are, how xenophobic we are. We're sick of all of it. We're sick of it. America's ready for a reset. We're ready to hear about how great we are, about how 8 wars have just been ended in 9 months, about how our borders closed and people aren't coming in. A new poll out is staggering from the New York Times. 54% of Americans want illegals deported. All illegals, not criminal aliens, all. That's a shocking number. We know that something like 80-some% say, yeah, criminal illegal aliens, get them out of the country. But all, just like you're here illegally, you got to go. I was surprised by that number. Most of the people I know are ambivalent on that, saying, you know what, if they're not harming anybody and they're trying to assimilate into society, let's let them stay. I think most people kind of believe that way, but the poll doesn't reflect that. This is a major shift in who and what we are. We've finally decided, it's like a person who for years doesn't take care of themselves, whether that's physical or mental or whatever it is. They're too busy, they're too absorbed in other things, and all of a sudden they do a transformation later in life and say, I got to get thinner or healthier, or I got to get some mental health help because, I've got this issue, or I've got an alcoholism, I got to clean that up. I feel like we're in rehab in this country. We're cleaning it up. And it's a lot more than me and you listening to conservative talk radio. It's sweeping a whole bunch of people in the middle and a whole bunch of people that were once Democrats. And they're saying, no. We have to take care of America first. We really do. And we can dispute how that works and what that means, but it's not about illegals pouring in, okay? It's not about race. It's not about gender. We've got problems that as Americans we all share that we need to take care of and make sure America remains great. I know that's tying a lot into a musical artist that's probably going to get canceled. I think this is going to be really bad for Zach Bryan. But when I see these other organizations still being affected, Bud Light being brought into this, the Dixie Chicks being brought in, Bruce Springsteen being brought in, that's a whole bunch of people that are remembering. We haven't forgotten those things. We haven't forgotten those companies. I'm not here to disparage Bud Light or Springsteen music. I'm one of the biggest Springsteen fans that ever was. I don't listen to him much anymore because I hear his voice now and I kind of hear echoes of him bad-mouthing America while he's overseas. But I'm not deleting him from my playlist. I grew up with his music. The songs are meaningful to me. They connected with me, a lot of them about working and growing up working class and things like that. Those were meaningful to me. So I'm not doing that, and I'm not asking anybody else to. But we seem to have a pretty good memory in this country, more than just conservatives, of things that we've done wrong in the last 20 years, not to other people, not to other countries, not to people that don't look like us or have the same sexual identity or gender. No. We've done this collectively to ourselves. And people like Zach Bryan put a song like this out now, and they sound incredibly out of touch with what America is thinking today. And that's a beautiful thing. 913-408-7957. That's 913-408-7957. If you'd like to be on Uncanceled, I'd be honored to speak with you next.
From Smithville to Shawnee Mission, it's Kevin Kietzman. Uncanceled on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Well, I think for about a month we've been saying have a great weekend every Friday because the weather looks so good. But here we go again. 80s all weekend, baby. Let's do this. Should be a gorgeous night for Sunday Night Football. Looking good for Columbia tomorrow. Alabama, Missouri. We'll talk about some of those football games a little bit later on the show. We hope you have a great weekend. We're going to have a little fun with our Friday show today. I want to tip my cap today to one of the nicest, greatest Kansas Cityans there is, Bob Kendrick, who is president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. He is an unstoppable force. He works and works and works and smiles and smiles and smiles and laughs and tells stories and has all good days. He literally does. But he had an especially good day yesterday. He's been in Savannah, Georgia this week as president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, working with the Savannah Bananas. You may know the story of the Savannah Bananas. They played at Kauffman Stadium this year and sold it out. These are the guys that do cartwheels, circus catches, go to the plate with their bat on fire and hit the baseball. They're like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, and they've become a phenomenon. Not too long ago, they played against the Monarchs at Monarch Stadium at the Legends in KCK. And so he got to know the owners a little bit. They hired him to come in before they were a big deal. They went down and they toured the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And at that point in time, Bob Kendrick told those folks, if you ever decide to expand, we want to help. We want to have a presence. We want something. This is the week of the payoff. The Savannah Bananas have to play another team every time they play. And they play, one of them's called the Party Animals. I don't know the names of the other two or three teams that they have in the league. But they've expanded now by 2 more teams. And Kendrick's mission was to get one of them to be an old Negro Leagues team. It is not the Monarchs. This team is called the Indianapolis Clowns. And I've never heard of them. Mark, have you ever heard of the Indianapolis Clowns? John has?
I have. I've been through the museum a few times, and I've seen the hat. So that's how I knew about them.
So the Clowns, I've got a story here, were basically the Globetrotters of the Negro Leagues. In a way, the Clowns were the Savannah Bananas of that league. The Indianapolis Clowns have a rich baseball history. This is a story on the new expansion for the Savannah Bananas. They were the Negro Leagues version of the Harlem Globetrotters. They're the club that Hank Aaron signed his first contract with. That's unbelievable. They started in 1935. They disbanded in 1989. They call the Clowns the most important team they ever created. It took years in the making to bring back. Bob Kendrick of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum has done just that. He said, all the entertainment, all the fun, all the jokes, all the things you guys were creating, it was like watching the Indianapolis Clowns, who were true pioneers in this entertainment style. They were the first ones to do this. So they kept rolling. They built a relationship with the Savannah Bananas. The rebirth of the Clowns is exciting and historic, Kendrick would say. It's a relevant tribute to the team that was at the forefront of combining baseball and entertainment. We want to educate fans about the rich history of the Negro Leagues and pay homage to the team that helped influence banana ball. This is so cool. Are you ready? Ryan Howard, 2008 World Series champion, 2006 NL MVP, is tasked with the role of primetime coach for the Clowns. Ryan Howard's from Kansas City. Am I wrong? John knows this. Is he from like Independence or Lee Summit? Ryan Howard's from here. I'm absolutely 99% certain that Ryan Howard is from Kansas City. I don't think he, like his thing's in Philadelphia. You go there, you become the star, you stay there. That's where you live, right? Ryan Howard called it an honor to coach this team and cited legends that paved the way like Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, and Cool Papa Bell. This is pretty cool. Banana ball is now intertwined with the Negro Leagues. This will, in many ways, benefit the museum. It has to. There's no way it won't benefit the museum. Bob Kendrick is to be cherished in Kansas City. He doesn't get enough credit. I think so many people, and you know, sometimes you're that person that is seen at so many places and so many different events that you don't get overexposed isn't the right word, but people take you for granted. Bob Kendrick, I think, in this community gets taken for granted. The work that he has done, because he's got tunnel vision. It's just about that league, that history, and that museum. And it's a beautiful thing to watch him do his work. And I just congratulate everybody that's been working with the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum all these years, doing all the different things to get connected with banana ball and be part of this league. I think it's one of the very cool things that we can have. All right, Mark, do we have a call there on line one? My board just went kaput on me. Happens to me all the time. It's my problem. It's not anybody else's problem. Steven is with us. Hi, Steven. We got about a minute. Go for it.
Well, Keith, I've read that Turning Point USA has a Super Bowl show now, so we're gonna clobber Roger Goodell. I don't believe anything that comes out of that guy's mouth anymore, like Eric Dickerson. So there's been numerous reports that Taylor Swift felt she was disrespected when she met with Roger Goodell and Mr. What was his name, the Lachlan Murdoch. They tried to, so they basically screwed Taylor Swift
Man,
over.
You are just locked in on something you shouldn't be that worried about. I respect you, but Taylor Swift has said that that's not the case. It never got that far. There are reports that she wanted to own the performance after it was over, not the National Football League, and they would never agree to that. So we're going to go 30 seconds long, Mark. Sorry.
They wouldn't let her bring on her people. These guys are liars. Goodell's a huge liar.
We can sit here all day and bash Roger Goodell. I'm all in. I got a million things I don't like about Goodell. This is about money, and we are capitalists. This audience is a bunch of conservative capitalists, and that's what the NFL is. They want to branch out, be global, make more money, and export the American brand. That's what they're trying to do. With any other company like Apple, we love those companies for doing it. The NFL, that's all they're doing. This is all money. Uncanceled continues on KCMO.
From Lawrence to Leavenworth, it's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
All right, we're back on Uncanceled. Ryan Howard, who's going to be the coach, the primetime coach. That means when they're on TV and stuff, right? The primetime coach of the Indianapolis Clowns, which was a Negro Leagues team, is originally from St. Louis and played at Missouri State, or what is now Missouri State, in Springfield. I swear there was a time at some point he was here, but I could be absolutely wrong. Maybe somebody knows. I've got some people I'll call. Somebody will remember something. And I know about Albert Pujols. I know he was here and played community college ball here. That's not it. That's not it. I got some kind of Kansas City connection with Ryan Howard in my head, but I guess we'll find out. What a great player he was. His entire career with the Phillies. Is that right? 14 seasons, 13, 14 seasons. Terrific. Oh, yeah. What a great player.
Whenever I first started into fantasy baseball, nobody cares about fantasy teams, but he was always solid for me.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah, he was consistent, man. Very, very, very good player. Here we go. We got our stat of the week to start this segment. It went under the radar because a couple days ago, Wednesday, there were 25 big stories in one day. And so this went under the radar. Kash Patel was doing some sort of an interview, or maybe it was the cabinet meeting with Trump, and he gave this statistic out. This is crazy. Let's think about this for a second, because I'm going to give you a comp. Kash Patel said there's 110,000 gang members in Chicago. 110,000 gang members in Chicago. That is 5% of their population. In contrast, in the United States of America, the Jewish population is 2.3%. So do you know anybody Jewish? You're twice as likely to know a gang member. Think about that. If you live in a city, we're not talking about rural areas. If Chicago's anything like the rest of the country, is the gang rate, this would be a great question for Mayor Q sometime, is the gang rate in Kansas City, Missouri 5% of the population? Kash Patel, I don't know where he got the number, whatever. I need to know more. I won't just blindly believe this number, because that sounds shocking to me, that there could be 110,000 gang members in Chicago. But that was, of all the statistics and things I saw this week, that one stood out to me. 5% is not a small percentage of the population. You will always run into somebody in 5% of the population. Somehow, some way, you will cross paths with that person. That's not, 1/10 of 1%. That it's, the needle in the haystack, winning Powerball, something like that. That's a real number. 110,000 gang members in Chicago. And it kind of goes along with what I was saying in the last segment about the New York Times and their 54% poll of Americans that think if you're here illegally, you should be deported. Like, not criminals, just deported. Maybe the Trump people need to just start saying, look, this is all, stop asking us questions about this. This is democracy in action. This is what the people want. We're deporting criminals right now, so shut up, because most people want us to deport everybody, and we're not doing that. Point out that you're not deporting everyone that's here illegally. That's not what the Trump administration is doing at all. They're hoping over the course of a year or two, while they're getting rid of the criminals, that a lot of those people will self-deport. And there will be a lot of turnover as nobody new is coming in, and it will change the dynamic. Of course, we know it's all about elections, right? There's nobody that will disagree. The open border by the Democrats was all about cheating elections. It was. Or legally finding a way to give citizenship to all of those people and hope that they voted for the Democrats, which was the plan, although that's changing pretty dramatically, especially within the legal Hispanic vote. That's changing dramatically to the right. This is a big story you haven't heard, I don't think. You've heard of Dominion voting systems. Fox News got sued. Some media outlets got sued by these people. These were the machines that everybody believed were rigging the election in 2020. And we know what happened with the mail-in ballots. I don't know enough about the Dominion machines, but I guarantee you there's people in this audience right now listening that absolutely believe those crooked machines cost the election, that this was a nefarious corporation on the left that works with Democrats that sold machine subscriptions to different states and cheated the election because of what it is that they do. Well, I have good news for you today. Dominion Voting Systems was just purchased by Scott Leindecker, who is a former GOP election reform advocate. Dominion Voting Systems will now be called Liberty Vote, and it's owned by a Republican. I mean, that sounds almost as bad as the other way. The dude that I don't know why the left wouldn't be going crazy on this. He literally bought the company. This is Elon Musk buying X. It's the same thing. It's going to change. Now, Elon Musk, if you ask me, didn't make X what Twitter was for Democrats. He made it a fair space, an open forum for free speech. And Scott Leindecker says he's going to do the same thing with Dominion voting. As part of this deal, all lawsuits that Dominion has going will be ended right now. There's one against One America Network. They have a lawsuit against Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy. They have one against Rudy Giuliani. They have one against Sidney Powell. All of those are now gone. And Leindecker says Liberty Vote is a brand new company that finally, we have a voting system company that I didn't know this. Now it's 100% American owned. There were foreign investors in Dominion voting systems. That's unacceptable. That's just unacceptable, period. He says there will be third-party audit standards immediately with the new company, Liberty Vote. We will open our standards of the way we do things to a third party anytime, anywhere, any place. Everything we do is going to be out in the open. It sounds to me like it's going to be as fair as it absolutely can be. And there will be no cheating it. That's absolutely his mission. I think that's a pretty big story. I know a lot of people. I got a lot of emails from my podcast listening audience the last few years of people that just were locked in on Dominion, that they hated them. It was the worst possible thing. And they were convinced that Dominion machines were really the scourge of American elections. I'm not a big machine guy, but I vote in Johnson County, and when I vote, the machine spits out my paper ballot. Then I go over my paper ballot, make sure it's right, and put it in the box. I don't know how that's a problem unless they don't count the paper ballots. They alter what's on the machine, and they collect all the votes through the machine. I'm not a big machine guy. We've all been hacked in some way. I mean, we've all been subjected to this, whether it's just spam that pops up on your phone or whatever. People find their way into your life. They can find their way into election machines. I'd love to just see pencils and papers. Just like when we were kids, fill in the little bubble right here. I'm okay with that. How long would it take? I don't know. Other countries do it, and they announce their winners that night. For me, I think we should have in-person elections over the course of several days. And I think Election Day itself should be a national holiday, that everything's closed. Like, treat it like Christmas Day. Maybe your Quick Trip's open, that's it. Everything else is closed. There's no excuses. Go vote. This is the final day. We've been voting for 9 days, whatever it is. But in person, no mail-in. Absentee would be very limited to people that actually work or live or stationed overseas. That would be it. I think we should have people that could go to homes if you're disabled and collect your vote, see your ID, do it in person, and have it validated. There's a lot of ways you can do these things and make sure that everything's done right. And then on Election Day, it's a national holiday, and the polls should close at like 4:30 or 5. If you can't tabulate after several days counting votes already, with probably 2/3 of it already in, and then your final vote that day by 10 o'clock that night, I give up. I think at that point you have an election show. You take it out of the hands of the networks. You don't do anything. You hire somebody to I don't care how. Just do it like the NFL sells the Super Bowl. Sell it to one company to produce a TV show. Here's the results. Do it. And let the whole country watch. And just give the news. No opinion. Here's the results. Be pretty cool. I don't know why we couldn't do it. There's a million ways we can do it better than the way we do it. That much I know. I think that's a pretty big deal. Dominion voting system's been acquired by a conservative, Scott Leindecker, who busts out this one. It's now finally 100% American owned. Just ridiculous. All right, another cool story is something that's going on in the movies. Leonardo DiCaprio has a big movie coming out, a giant movie. Have you seen this movie that's coming out?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen the preview yet.
The first red flag is the reviews are insane. The best movie of its generation, 5 stars, So that's what it is. It's called One Battle After Another, and he plays kind of a loser that's always in a fight. The battle in its closing moments reveals what it's really about. I'm reading a reviewer here from Daily Caller. This is a conservative outlet. And in its closing moments, Leo DiCaprio's capable, beautiful, and caring mixed-race daughter runs off to join the movie's obvious stand-in for Antifa. This movie is basically about terrorists versus ICE. And it's all buttoned up in the final scene where Leonardo DiCaprio's daughter finds herself becoming a left-wing terrorist, driving off into the sunset while Tom Petty's American Girl plays in the background. Boy, this movie's going to get clobbered. Apparently they disguise much of what it is, but in the end, the sympathetic character, the daughter you love, goes off and joins the rebels, the Antifa people. The reviewer says over nearly 3 sporadically entertaining and sporadically over long and indulgent hours, Battle portrays left-wing terrorism as a vital force against the movie's obvious stand-ins for ICE. Every white character is either stupid and useless, like DiCaprio, or a virulent racist. Racial minorities, especially black women in this movie, are universally portrayed as strong, noble, and capable. The main story involves the saving of an innocent black girl from the evil clutches of the white race. Sean Penn plays a white nationalist military officer. Now, that's a synopsis. You watch the trailer, you don't know any of that. It just looks like an action movie that you don't know any of this is going on. And this reviewer says they hide most of all of it underneath the surface until the end of the movie when they reveal it. And it all comes to light as this girl, this daughter, drives off and becomes a left-wing terrorist while Tom Petty's American Girl is playing. American Girl is not anti-American. It's literally about an American girl. And I'm probably the biggest Tom Petty fan anybody will ever meet. I'm sad that the estate has allowed them to use the movie. They must not have known how they were using it, because that's a real bastardization of that song, for sure. All right, let's go to the phones, and we've got Jonathan in Overland Park joining us on KCMO. Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay. So I've actually worked in elections as a supervisor previously. Those boxes that you put those ballots into, it depends on the equipment and the vendor they're using. Every jurisdiction can use different equipment, but how most of them work is when you put it in there, there's a motorized roller that that takes the ballot in once it senses there's a ballot in the field. And what that roller does is it runs it through a scanner. The scanner takes a picture of the ballot. And the reason why it does that is because for 2 reasons. Number one, so that when they close the machine, it can compile that image when it's tabulating the results. There's a computer in there that does that. The other reason they do that is if anything ever happens to those ballots, or let's say we have a disaster and the election office gets destroyed and the ballots are lost, they have a memory card that can reproduce those ballots with those images. So it's a backup, and it allows them to count the results. If we did not have that system and you did a hand count, it would take months to hand count ballots. That's why they're able to report them the night of, and including in other countries, is they have a computer that counts all of those ballots in those ballot machines.
Good enough. That's great information. I'm okay with that system. That sounds like a checks and balances thing. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Great call, man. Thank you. And I've never felt like I've been cheated when I've cast my vote. I've never. Maybe I'm naive, but I've never felt like when I go do it that I've been cheated. But that doesn't mean that everybody's having the same voting experience that I'm having. That's my issue, because we've seen how they were counting and sacking up ballots and dropping them off in Atlanta and places like that. Whole different deal. Uncanceled is brought to you by bestofferkc.com, helping you leave the hassle behind. What I like about Best Offer is how they work with their clients. It's not just about, flipping the house as quickly as you can and moving on. There are real life stories with people who are going through things typically that put them in a situation where they need to sell a house fast. Sometimes it's people that inherit a house and they don't want to deal with cleaning it up, fixing it, cleaning it out. Best Offer KC will handle all that for you. They're there for you when you need them most, from start to finish. They even have their own title company inside their own offices at bestofferkc.com. They're the only one that is completely and 100% local. You hear these other companies say they're local. They're basically franchises of corporations that can be foreign owned. That's true. And they're what's called wholesalers, which means they can back out. Best Offer KC never does that. You want to sell your home quickly? bestofferkc.com. 816-338-SOLD. That's 338-SOLD for bestofferkc.com, helping you leave the hassle behind.
From Gladstone to Gardner, it's Kevin Kietzman. Uncanceled on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Time to check in with Mark Van Sickle, who's got breaking news for us today out of Columbia. What do we got going on here on Saturday?
Yeah, it looks like due to the federal government shutdown, the military flyover is going to be canceled at the Mizzou-Alabama football game. And then additionally, the ROTC cannon crew will not be present.
Well, I got two options for that cannon. I got probably thousands of people listening right now would be happy to go down there and blow that cannon up every time Missouri scores, right?
Yeah.
We got dudes like that listening.
Hopefully they can blow up the cannon. Last year they didn't score much on Alabama.
Doesn't the University of Missouri have students that are in reserve ROTC?
I would think so.
My high school has that, Shawnee Mission North. I mean, these schools have that.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they can't have students blowing up the cannon. I don't know, but they're just blanks. I got to look more into this. Missouri, I got no problem with Missouri. We've learned that their chancellor, the head of the system, is conservative. I got no issues. Missouri looks like they're doing way better than the state of Kansas. Like it isn't close with their education. So we're all on board with that. It is okay with me. Yes or no, Mark? Arby's has introduced steak nuggets.
I'm out on that.
I am too.
I don't like that.
I'm not eating a brisket sandwich there either, and I like Arby's.
Yeah.
Arby's is just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I go Arby's. Arby's is great. There's just certain things you don't order at fast food.
I'm getting a roast beef sandwich, though.
Steak nuggets, I'm out on that. Orion kicked Kirkering last night for the Philadelphia Phillies. Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 11th. Dodgers are up. It's the end of their season. If the Dodgers score, a broken bat comebacker to the mound. He bobbles the ball, panics as he picks it up, has an easy out at first base, tries to throw it home and throws it to the backstop. It is the worst way you've seen a season end, yes or no?
Yeah, especially with what was on the line for them.
Yep.
And, yeah, he just must have got flustered because there was 2 outs, right? Just to get the 1 out at first and go back to another half inning for them.
Total panic. You give up a grand slam, it happens. We've seen stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You break the guy's bat. I mean, it was a great pitch. A comebacker at like 12 miles an hour. He bobbled it, picked it up, panicked, and for some reason threw home, and he threw it to the backstop. It was really awkward and terrible. Our picks have not been great, my friend. I have not been great.
Got to get back on track.
Neither one of us, it sounds like, is touching the Chiefs or Mizzou. So before we get to our pick this week, are the Chiefs and Mizzou more likely to both win or more likely to both lose?
Probably lose.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to say because I'm picking them both to win.
Yeah, I like them both to win too,
But if both are going to do the same thing.
Yeah. They're both at home, though, so that's good.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. The Chiefs are a 2-point favorite. Missouri's a 3-point underdog. All right, we were not good last week. Are we 7-5 on the year now?
Now we're 7-5.
We're 7-5. Okay, so we're still winning, but not winning enough. Who are you going with this week, my friend?
I'm going with the Tampa Bay Bucks over the 49ers -2.5, so they have to win by 3 points or more.
Games in Tampa?
In Tampa. And I believe that Brock Purdy is still going to be out this week. So
Are both teams 4-1?
Yes.
That's a good game.
Yeah.
The Bucks might be the most fun team to watch in the league.
They've been a lot of fun.
Next to the Chiefs, who are getting fun again.
Yes.
Yeah, we're making the Chiefs fun again. I'm going down your rabbit hole, the team you love and you have not been successful with. Iowa State. Iowa State is a 2.5-point favorite at Colorado. I think this is a coaching mismatch. I don't think Deion can coach at all. I just don't think Deion's much of a coach.
I like your pick this week.
He had a procedure this week. He was in the hospital. I'm not buying it. I'm going with Matt Campbell and Iowa State -2.5 because if they win, they'll probably win by 3 or more, and I don't see how they lose the game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
I think they're good. Have a great weekend, everyone. It has been a great week. We have more peace on earth as the lines of drawback are taking place in the Middle East. It's just been great. We appreciate you being here every day. The Vince Show is coming up next. Enjoy your family and friends all weekend long, whatever it is you're doing. Take care.